That must happen sometimes when you're...
Yeah.
Yeah. I was right at the end of my point anyway, but, appreciating many different ways of learning and teaching, right? And, of course, we want to all become better teachers, more effective teachers, and, trying to pay attention to all the different ways that can be effective. Yeah, I think, that's how it helps us become better.
Yeah.
An
influence of how I teach is, or not how I teach, but just with something to respect that I do is, there's a book called Chuang-Tzu, I think the Book of Chuang-Tzu or whatever. In the Tao Te Ching, the Tao Te Ching, the author is Lao Tzu, but I think they say that's a pen name for this guy Chuang-Tzu. And he wrote another book of stories and such. One was called, it was a wheel maker. Basically the story was a wheel maker was making wheels, and the emperor was reading a book. And then up, and he says, what are you reading? He says, I'm reading, the wise words of the ancients, gone by. And the wheel maker says, why are you reading the dregs of their words? And he says, explain, or I'll kill you. And he says, let me relate it to making wheels. Yes, I've been making wheels for 40 years, whatever. Through my experience, through the time of doing it, I know if it's a little too tight, it won't move. If it's too loose, it won't go. But it has to be just right. And this knowledge I can't even pass on to my sons or my kids. So that's the goal, that's the real knowledge right there. So anything that's written down in that book, that's why I call it it's not as important as that stuff. And how I experienced that in myself is a friend of mine, James On, called my coffee senseis. He done a lot of coffee making and such. And we were at this coffee shop where he was working, so he had me behind the counter. And he was in front of me. He made his shot, just one tamp, coffee, espresso. And I read about it. I did a little bit. I did some myself. I already had a year of experience, or whatever. I did the exact same thing, and it tasted miles apart. And it's just 4 steps. And 30 pounds of pressure, the twist, but it's just that internal stuff that really you can't teach. Which is kind of the benefit, or that's the one. Like the prize, like spending 10 years doing something, that there is this, you'll get this little treat, this thing that you can't learn anywhere.
That's the thing. A barista needs that sense of taste. Otherwise, they can't get good, right? If for some reason your level of taste is lower, you're going to stop there. And the best baristas, maybe their level is really high, and they're going to keep working until they get to that higher level, right?
But there's still the time that takes to get to that.
Right, exactly. And, for me, it's the same with teachers. You want to study with teachers who have that high level of taste so that they can help you develop, to get to that higher level, because they can make a comment or just not be happy with something that sounds pretty good, because what they're hearing in their head is much, much higher, right?
But in that case, even then, is it still an internal... okay, well, so doing the karate, the first few years they were saying the hip vibration, hip road, kind of that sort of thing, and I would copy what they do, but it didn't take a few years later to realize, it finally clicked in. I'm guessing that whether or not they said, I'm just guessing, whether or not they said anything, if I was practicing every day or regularly, I would have gotten that anyway. But it still needs the body, the mind, the fingers need to be ready to process that information. So I wonder, there's so many wonderful players out there, but in their teaching, does that really have as much impact as just personal get comfortable with this instrument, because eventually it will become your sound.
Yeah.
I wonder. That's just my...
Yeah, it probably depends on the student too. You know, what motivates you? You know, if your karate teacher was never happy, and you're really motivated to become good, that might be the motivation. Whereas maybe a really easygoing teacher would be like, "That's good, and you feel like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, yeah, maybe I got it." And then you might not have that drive to practice as much if your personality is that one where you're always striving to get higher and higher. You know?
Yeah.
So it depends on the student's personality. And there might be some students who would be doing really well with a laid-back teacher because it matches their learning style and they're comfortable with that. And then there might be some people who are really need that level set higher, ever higher, right? And that level can be set higher if your teacher, has high expectations and has, like your coffee sensei. If your coffee sensei was your coffee sensei for many, many years and you're always trying to get to that level, if they keep that level up there high and make sure you can see the difference between his coffee level and your coffee level, and then maybe help you figure out how to get there. So through practice and motivation and setting a bar of here's where you need to get. And that if you're in the right personality, student-wise, maybe that's why you practice.
Probably, yeah, it is person to person.
Yeah. Well, trying to get students to practice on a regular basis, that can be a challenge too. So,
yes.
I'm always thinking about what would make my student practice this week more. And then once students practice and come to the next lesson with a better result maybe than before when they practice less, you feel better about it, and then maybe there's some momentum going forward. So, as a teacher, I'm always thinking about motivation.
Yes,
and those things, and of course, personality differences.
Do you teach at your place, or you?
I do a combination. I do lessons at my place in my office. I teach Skype lessons quite a bit.
Right.
On taiko, drum set, shinobue. Sometimes people want advice on how to compose. So, there's some students are very regular and some students are occasional. Sometimes there's a really specific technical issue that we go over, but Skype lessons, I don't know how much you do in terms of like one-on-one live Skype lessons, but for me, I figured out how to make it work. And of course, live is better, but Skype can be with anybody around the world, so there's that. And if you use it effectively, I think it's really good. Otherwise, I'll go out and do workshops like I am on this trip. Often taiko groups will hire me to come in and work with a group on a one-time basis, or maybe a few different meetings and private lessons. I'm trying to, do a variety of things. Whoever's interested, I'm really happy to teach. Right? No matter what the level or style, whatever they're looking for, if they're interested in what I'm doing, if they want my instruction, then I just try to make it happen somehow.
It's excellent. That's what I find. This would be a great place where we can wrap it. Is that if the instructor has kind of the passion for it, then the people who are needing that, whatever they're doing, they just kind of magnetate. They're whatever they like a magnet. They just come right. So then you get, if your heart's in the right place, you get those kind of people. Automatically. By putting yourself out.
And it's rewarding because it happened organically, right?
Yeah.
It's there's some kind of connection, and that connection, for sure, is more important than which instrument I'm teaching or what level or anything. Language barriers doesn't, that's all secondary compared to that organic, I want to learn from you, or I want to hire you for my production, or whatever it might be. Just having that, can be elusive, but rewarding too, to have the real thing.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
In the Bachido, at the very start, so I was going to end, but I mean, generally with forms and such, it's always known for people getting into arguments, and like I think the shakuhachi form had to be shut down because just too many people claiming they were too much politics, just all this kind of baggage going in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's with the Bachido starting it up in 2011. I really, with a lot of videos and things, I really put my own kind of feeling in there, which was that this is all supportive, everything's good, as it were, which was thankfully from Kevin, learning from Kevin. Yeah, that is actually an influence, because at the beginning I was more that kind of strict. I was wanting kind of strictness, but Kevin is naturally very, let's all the vibrations, that kind of whole thing. So by the time I started Bachido, I was already into that mentality. So really pushing that out there, that kind of mindset, that direct mindset to my community before people were even there, that really attracted those who felt the same way. And those who didn't feel, who were much more kind of tight about it, they just kind of, they don't come anyway.
Right.
So it really kind of filters. If you really are clear, like, this is who I am, this is what my community is about, then that filters in a healthy way.
I had one more last question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where you see shamisen going, because with your school, Bachido is really, seems really unique and kind of cutting edge in terms of making this material available to anybody around the world, which, I've run across people who they want to get into shamisen. There's no teacher in the town, and once I knew about your place, it's like, of course, that's where you have to go. You have to get involved with Bachido because there's quality instruction, and, so you're cutting edge in that way. Where do you see shamisen, and it could be instruction as well, but in general, do you see it going somewhere?
Yes, I do believe, because, I mean, just saying, like, why it's, if you like it, I think you like it for life, just because of that primal percussion, as well as the melody that as two things that we both love as animals, as it were. And a thing that's always been holding back is the lack of accessibility. So having that accessibility there, and now, thanks to partners and such, having the prices lower so people can actually get started, it's only a matter of time, I believe.
It's going to get bigger.
Yeah, I think it's not going to go low. It's not going to go down. I think it's just going to slowly but surely just increase. Even just recently, a boy wrote me, a 14-year-old kid in Greece. I want to get started with the shamisen. There's someone in Hungary, several people in Russia. Into Shaman Camp Tokyo, a guy came from Russia to join up. So it's definitely not slowing down.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks so much for
thank
sitting
you for
down
coming.
and talking.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate it.
We'll enjoy learning more about you too and what you're doing. So wish you good luck in your new. I heard you're going to be starting video lessons.
Yeah, that's the plan. Is to make video lessons for taiko and probably some other percussion. Trying to get some of this material out there that is probably not available yet. So same kind of thing. Trying to spread it, make knowledge more available. Right. That's the strength of the kind of new online instruction world.
Yeah.
So trying to get it out there for people who want it. So, if I can help provide that, then that's great.
Definitely. That is the true meaning of Christmas, as I say for everything. That is where it's at. That is where it's at.
You plug your Christmas album.
Christmas Frosty coming soon. No, that is where it's at. Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I guess have your Facebook link, or at least your website, of course.
Yeah.
If anyone watching is interested in things he wants to teach, drum shinobu, different kinds of drumming, percussion, such, definitely get in contact with him.
Yeah, thank you.
And anyone listening, if you're into shamisen, get in contact with me.
Link up everything.
Yay!
We'll do that. Sounds great. Awesome. Okay.
See ya! See ya.